Coming up here on the SmackDown Ring Report on the Pro Wrestling Show, we have a lot to talk about on this fallout of SmackDown. As Daniel Bryan continue his road to WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan has an opportunity of a lifetime to challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at Fastlane. Could Daniel Bryan do the impossible and try to get to Fastlane? With there must be an added caveat to that. We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll talk about is there dissension going on between Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, and you see what's his name, Reginald. Is a dissension going on between Banks and Belair before their upcoming championship match, women's tag team match against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And I have to talk about this. What's going on with Apollo Crews with his new Nigerian gimmick? I mean, you know how that go. But he didn't start with that, but they're trying to get him to do something that he don't want to do. But hey, it is what it is. Also, we'll have more story on legendary promoter Jim Crockett, who passed away. We'll I'll reminisce about Jim Crockett's promotions, about the legendary heyday of Jim Crockett and what he brought to the sport of professional wrestling and what impact he made. Also, new allegations going on with Joey Ryan and Ring of Honor. Joey Ryan suing Ring of Honor for alleged work misconduct. We'll get to that. And who do I believe, as we know tonight, that AEW presents Revolution, their pay-per-view. But we did predict the outcome yesterday. You can watch it available now on Connect TV at any time you want. But who do you believe between these six or more, I might be thinking RVD, that's going to join AEW since Big Show made mention of it? We'll talk about this and more when we do after the countdown. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Kitty Diggs here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe, Miss Karen. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. We're going to talk about the SmackDown Ring Report coming up very shortly. But we're going to get to a lot of other stuff, too. So let's get started with the SmackDown Ring Report. All right, on the SmackDown Ring Report was this. Daniel Bryan started the show off talking about his road to WrestleMania. Now, many of you know that Daniel Bryan had a shot at the championship, the Universal Championship, at Elimination Chamber. He went through that grueling Elimination Chamber match to go through 5 others, and then Roman Reigns waited in the weeds to meet Daniel Bryan after the match and had pinned Daniel Bryan without Daniel Bryan being 100%. So Roman was wrong on that, but I digress. But Roman Reigns come out there and he talks about Daniel Bryan and he just berates him, saying he doesn't deserve a Universal Championship match, and saying that if Daniel Bryan wins the steel cage night, he will get his shot. He can earn him a shot. But if Jey Uso wins, Daniel Bryan have to team with Edge to take on the team of Roman and Jey. Well, Daniel Bryan had his work cut out for him, and we'll get to that momentarily. After that was King Corbin and Sami Zayn, along with his camera crew. King Corbin was in singles action against Montez Ford. Montez Ford provided a good sizzle for the beginning of the match until there was a lot of miscommunication. And then Montez Ford won his match. Sammy went on to face Angelo Dawkins in the single match. Dawkins was proven to be a drop kick right here. Drop kicking Sami Zayn. And Sammy turning Angelo Montez to watch on for his tag team partner, Dawkins. Dawkins tried to do well, Sammy did a clothesline on Dawkins. Dawkins countered with a jumping of elbow strike effect, which Dawkins won the match. And the Street Profits won their respective individual matches against Corbin and Zayn. So Street Profits saying they want their smoke. They want the tag team titles so bad that haven't been featured. Well, with the current tag team champion Rude and Ziggler, they haven't been featured after defeating the Street Profits, as they are kind of considered as like title holders, but not trying to be, not holding them. They hold the belts, but they're not actively involved with them. It's just like if you're going to feature the Street Profits, you're building them up. You might as well go and get them their rematch that they wanted. But we have to wait and see if they're going to do that at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn turned his attention to one of his cameramen and started attacking him. I was like, what in the world Sami Zayn doing? Sami Zayn losing his mind, losing everything. What's going on? We'll just have to see. Meanwhile, Rey Mysterio's son, Dominic, was in action. Rey Mysterio was in Dominic's corner as well. Dominic took on Chad Gable, the Olympic athlete. Gable's corner was Otis. Now, Otis did that shocking surprise heel turn that many people didn't see coming when he crushed Rey Mysterio and landed on him. Well, Ray got his payback on Otis by sentencing Otis do the announce table. I'm surprised the announce table did not crash. But it didn't. But Ray got his little small measure of revenge. But we had to see what is going on between the team of Mysterios, Gable, and Otis going forward. Also, women's tag team champion Shayna Baszler was in action when she took on the winner of the Royal Rumble, Bianca Belair, who's guaranteed that she declared last week that she's taking on Sasha Banks for the women's championship. So they was in action. Hard, nasty fought matchup between the two. The two are no strangers towards each other. They know each other. They know what their strengths are, and both of them power. Bianca more power, size, and strength as compared to Shayna's vicious and then ever before. Well, Sasha Banks came out there in support of Bianca Belair, where Bianca probably didn't need Sasha's help. Well, Sasha was Reginald in a way was kind of in between Sasha and outside the match, where Sasha and Nia Jax got involved, causing Bianca Belair to lose. Bianca Belair told Sasha Banks, told Reginald to stay out of her way. So is there problems? Is there friction between these two heading towards their women's tag team rematch? If they're going to be, is this going to be the start of a turn? Is Bianca Belair looking to decide to turn heel? We have to wait and see. We have to see. For I said, I'm thinking. I want to say Sasha, but how Bianca Belair attitude was, I'm thinking she may turn heel. Just saying. Also, Murphy was in action. We took on Cesaro. Before the match, Murphy even came into Seth Rollins doing the interview. Murphy had offered Seth Rollins to come back in his stable, and Seth Rollins said, "You got to be kidding me! You think I'm gonna take you back after what you did?" They dropped the storyline between him and that love story with him and Leah, and Murphy was trying to make peace with Seth Rollins to get back in good graces with him. Well, Murphy was making peace with Cesaro. Cesaro looking phenomenal in the match. Cesaro doing the gut-wrench suplex on Murphy. Murphy we haven't seen in a while, coming back on SmackDown. And Murphy's tapped out to Cesaro in the sharpshooter. They haven't said if Cesaro is going to meet Seth Rollins at Fastlane one-on-one, but it's looking like towards to being that way. But we'll find out and see coming forward. Also, Apollo Crews debuted his new Nigerian gimmick, and then he also debuted something else. He debuted these Nigerian guardsmen, and he debuted a new Nigerian accent. He's saying that he wants to embrace his new self, and he's talking like that. And I thought to myself, I said, there got to be Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon doing that, telling this man to embrace his vision. I know Apollo has to do what he has to do, but for me purposely, I'm like, you've been talking the way you've been talking. Why now you want to change your accent to Nigerian? I get it, but at the same token, it's like just be yourself. And I think Vince McMahon has an issue with that sometimes when you want to take people's accent and make it something that is completely not. Where you can tell, for example, like Bro Lee, when Broly was in WWE. Broly was supposed to born in New York, and Vince wanted him to have a Southern accent. Broly told Vince up front, "I don't know how to do a Southern accent," and that made irritated Vince McMahon to not push him. Same way with Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston came in with a Jamaican accent, and that irritated Vince. And I think it's like that because I know Bruce Pritchard talks about that, but I think to me, you need to leave accents. Um, you stepping forward on that. You kind of like you treading lightly. You want to tread lightly because you don't want to offend nobody. Like I get it, he born in Nigeria, but if he was born, I know he had to be born in America. But let him just embrace his roots, but he don't have to speak like that. And that's what kind of like turned me away from that. So wish WWE would kind of get their act together on that. And they're gonna probably do that in Cruz vows that when Big E he's supposed to schedule the return next week after that blatant attack by Apollo Cruz. Big E wants to get his measure of revenge, but something's gonna be waiting for him next week with these security guards and Apollo Cruz with that little stick. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. Also, 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 the main event was the steel cage match between Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso. Roman Reigns watching closely in the match. See right here, Jey trying to do a Samoan drop onto Daniel Bryan, and you see right here Roman watching immensely that he's getting Daniel Bryan getting destroyed, so Daniel Bryan don't have to get a shot at the Universal title. See right here, Daniel Bryan trying to use all his measure to get out of it, and he put Jey into the yes move, and Jey tried to use the ropes, and Jey just passed out and tapped out, earning Daniel Bryan the right to meet Roman Reigns one-on-one for the Universal Championship at Fastlane. It will happen. The Universal Championship match between Reigns and Bryan. Now, if you recall, they had a Fastlane match before. It was like 5 years ago, I think, yeah, 6 years ago. It was between them who was going to meet Brock Lesnar. But this time it's for the championship. Can Daniel Bryan do the impossible and defeat Roman Reigns at Fastlane to become the Universal Champion? Or Roman will continue his momentum and meet Edge for the championship at WrestleMania? We'll have to wait and see. But you can tell right here, that Roman Reigns does not look pleased at all. It's like everybody coming at Roman. You got Kevin Owens. Roman Reigns had to take him down. You got now Daniel Bryan. How Daniel Bryan going to get down with that? But yeah, you never know. This is the momentum that Daniel Bryan needs, and he has to do what he has to do because he said that his time may be near. But you know how that goes. Well, that ends the SmackDown Ring report right here. Let's move forward to Hot Topic. On Hot Topics this week, we talk about the legendary promoter Jim Crockett, who passed away this week. Jim Crockett was 76 years old. He was the former president of NWA, WCW. Jim Crockett led the talent of Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, the Road Warriors, and many others. And deeply missed. And he was side by side with Dusty Rhodes, creating like the most infamous matches, like Starrcade with Ric Flair and Harley Race, like with Dusty Rhodes. So NWA Saturday Night. So Jim Crockett will be missed. They said that he passed away due to COVID. He didn't want to take the didn't want to be on hospital, didn't want to be in something. He went in hospice, and Jim Crockett passed away. So Jim Crockett will be immensely missed in the sport of wrestling. So it's probably that they didn't give him no tribute. That's kind of messed up. Also, Ring of Honor suffering with a lawsuit as former executive Joey Mercury, I meant to say, said that Ring of Honor with the practices and stuff. So he's saying that Ring of Honor violated stuff that he wanted to make talent come, but Ring of Honor was controlling every move he was making. He felt like Ring of Honor was undermining him. Ring of Honor going to do another lawsuit with Kelly Klein, their former women's champion. She felt like Ring of Honor is a sexual harassment suit, and he's saying this. he's not saying the same thing. He's just saying that Ring of Honor didn't pay him enough and didn't pay him for what his worth was. So that's understandable on that. But a wrestling man like that, somebody might get him. If I was a wrestling a upstart wrestling promoter, you never know with Kenny Tony Khan, he might get him. He might get him. But speaking of AEW, they have Revolution tonight, and you can check our predicted outcome anytime available. Screaming now on Connect. We gave match predictions and match previews of the matches that's coming tonight. There's been a mystery that the Big Show, well now known as now Paul White, said that he has scoop on who he believes is going to show up at AEW tonight. It's going to be two mystery people. One going to be for the ladder match, with between Cody, the face of the Revolution, Cody, Max Caster, Pinto Zero Mira, Lance Archer, and a host of others. And there's one mystery person that Show said that he believes it's going to be, but it's going to be two. For the face of the Revolution, I think he's going to be Rob Van Dam. Reason I said Rob Van Dam because Rob Van Dam hasn't been on television in a long time. His last appearance was with Impact Wrestling. RVD could make a splash and make an impact. He has been in ladder matches before, and this is no different. So I say RVD will, if he do come, I'll be shocked because he has a somewhat deal with WWE with their small documentary, and I think they're gonna derail it. And if he do come, but you never know. So look for that. Also, Big Show also mentioned that another person's coming to AEW that's Hall of Fame worthy. And that kind of raised questions too. And I'm thinking like, who is Big Show talking about? And so you got to wait and see. And between these 6 people right here, who do you believe is Hall of Fame worthy to come to AEW? Between these 6, some are saying that Kurt Angle may come because he has no contract with WWE. Some are saying Brock Lesnar might come. I'm kind of shocked if Brock Lesnar do come. If Brock do come, it's gonna be a shocker. It's gonna be a game changer. Christian, who was with WWE during the Royal Rumble, who could make an impact, but like I said, Christian could do that, but who knows? CM Punk, who has been seen in wrestling a long time. I think CM Punk may be the one to come. Who knows? But CM Punk made it clear that he's going to a Blackhawks game and watch that. I'll be shocked. And some people brought in Tessa Blanchard or Marty Scurll. I never thought they'll be like underrated wild cards, but you never know with that. Who could it be? But I'm betting my money on Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle will make his debut on AEW, but you never know. But that's what I'm putting my money on. Also, Tully Blanchard made his wrestling comeback. We teamed up with his proteges FTR to go against the team of the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt. That match was so funny and amazing. Even JJ Dillon was at ringside trying to provide assistance to Tully with the shoe. Well, we had to wait and see and stuff on what's going to happen with that. But Tully Blanchard doing the that slingshot suplex on fucking Marco Stunt was amazing, but it brought you memories back of the 80s and stuff, what had happened in the heyday. But you know how that go. It was good. And Candice Michelle says that she wants Hulk Hogan to induct in the Hall of Fame. You got to be kidding me. Candice Michelle, Hulk Hogan. Now, I don't know, Hulk Hogan may mentor Candice Michelle. Who knows? But I don't see it. I can see Candice being inducted by Beth Phoenix or somebody else. But Hulk Hogan, maybe Hulk Hogan did something influential to Candice, but we'll never know. So that's kind of like one that a lot of people are talking about. And finally, right here, this Wednesday on NXT, Adam Cole gets a championship match against champion Finn Balor. Now, this has been the turning point after Cole had turned on his whole Undisputed Era members. Adam Cole, Cal O'Reilly, Roger Strong, Bobby Fish went in the picture, but he turned on him, and now he finally gets his championship match against Finn Balor. Can Adam Cole leave NXT this Wednesday night as the new NXT champion? We'll wait and see. Could Finn Balor kill the momentum of Adam Cole? All this and more. Like I said, AEW Revolution is tonight, so do not miss it. It's going to be a great card. Sting returns. They got the exploding bar ride death match that everybody's been talking about. Everybody's been waiting to see. It's something that's innovative, brand new in North America. So, and the two mystery people that many people are talking about. Who's going to be the two mystery people that Big Show's been talking about for late? All right. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long. We'll see you next week for another edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. See you later.